Hey guys, and welcome to City Geek. As you may have already gathered from my channel, I'm a little obsessed about cities in general. My favorite aspect about a city, however, has always been its skyline. I grew up in a small tater town in Idaho, and I remember as a child being blown away by the skylines of cities like Denver and Seattle. In this video, I'm excited to count down the largest 16 skylines in all of North America. Now let's get to it. First, I need to explain the method I'm using to measure the size of these skylines. For this ranking, I'll simply be comparing the number of skyscrapers each city has. Now, what constitutes a skyscraper is a self-supported building at least 150 meters tall, and over half of its height is habitable floor space. Starting off our list at number 16 is Brooklyn, New York. This was a little surprising to me because I don't often think of Brooklyn having its own distinct skyline, given its close proximity to New York City. Not only does it have 12 skyscrapers, but the skyline will soon have its own super tall skyscraper, the 9 de Kalb, at 325 meters in height. Brooklyn will be one of only 6 US cities to have a building that tall. The next city on the list is also in the New York City metro, and that's Jersey City. Jersey City is home to 16 skyscrapers and recently added its tallest, the 99 Hudson. Jersey City is tied for 14th on this list and is the first of 5 consecutive ties we're going to have. The other city that is home to 16 skyscrapers is my home of Philadelphia. As a historic city, Philadelphia had a slow start when it came to building skyscrapers, which I explain in my Philly overview video. The skyline has grown significantly in recent years, adding the 2 Comcast towers, and it'll likely add several other large skyscrapers over the next decade with the $3.5 billion Schuylkill Yards project. Next on the list is Las Vegas, Nevada, which is tied for the 12th largest skyline with 17 skyscrapers. Most of these buildings are casinos located on the Strip. The tallest structure in the city is the Stratosphere, which isn't included in this ranking due to it not being a skyscraper. The city tied with Vegas for the 12th largest skyline in North America is Atlanta, Georgia, which also has 17 skyscrapers. It's not one of my favorite skylines because of how spread out it is, but it does have some beautiful buildings such as the Bank of America Plaza and the Westin Peachtree Plaza. Tied for 10th place is our first Canadian city on this list, Calgary. Calgary is Canada's second largest skyline with 19 total skyscrapers. This is a really impressive skyline to me, especially considering that its metro population is about a fourth the size of Atlanta's, with only 1.3 million people. The other city with 19 skyscrapers is Dallas, Texas. Dallas and Calgary are the largest skylines on this list that are inland and aren't bordering a major body of water. Our next tie is between 2 cities on opposite coasts with 23 skyscrapers each. The first of those is the Emerald City of Seattle. Seattle, in my opinion, has one of the most picturesque and beautiful skylines in the country. It was the first city I ever lived in and helped spark my passion for learning about cities. The other city tied for 8th place is Boston, Massachusetts. Boston has a large, dense skyline, although it lacks the height of the other cities on this list. If you take the average height of the tallest 5 skyscrapers, Boston would be the 3rd shortest skyline on this list, only beating out Las Vegas and Brooklyn. We have one last tie, and it's between 2 California cities, one of which is San Francisco with 27 skyscrapers. The most iconic building in the city is the Transamerica Pyramid, but my favorite building in the city is the Salesforce Tower. The other California city tied for 6th place on this list is Los Angeles. LA is the 2nd largest city on the continent, so its skyline is a little underwhelming, especially when you see how much smaller its skyline is than the top cities on this list. The 5th largest skyline in North America is Houston, Texas. The city is home to 38 skyscrapers and 7 of the tallest 10 buildings in all of Texas. Next, we have Miami with 56 skyscrapers, making it the continent's 4th largest skyline. Not only is Miami's skyline massive, but it's perhaps the youngest skyline on this list. Only 2 of Miami's tallest 25 buildings were built before the year 2000. The 3rd largest skyline on the continent is Toronto, Canada. Toronto has 67 skyscrapers currently, but I don't think the city is satisfied with its 3rd place ranking considering it has 31 skyscrapers under construction and another 59 proposed. If those were all completed, it would surpass the 2nd largest skyline in North America, which is Chicago. The Windy City is the birthplace of the skyscraper, which explains, in part, why it has such an impressive skyline. Chicago has a massive skyline with 130 skyscrapers. In my opinion, it's the best looking skyline on the continent, although it doesn't even come close to number 1 on this list in terms of size, which is New York City with a whopping 290 skyscrapers. To put that into perspective, if you took out Chicago and then added the skyscrapers of the next 10 largest skylines in the United States, you'd get 263, which is 27 less than New York City alone. New York is experiencing its largest skyscraper boom since the 1930s, with many new, unique, super tall skyscrapers popping up throughout the city. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Thanks so much for watching.